Okay, I have a question for the Sonic fans. Does anyone remember the game where you played as Shadow and it was like a really dark Shadow game? Like there was machine guns, there was like tanks and fire. It was a really dark story game. But does anyone remember that game? Because I remember playing it a lot as a kid. Because my sister and I played Sonic all the time. We are Sonic kids. We played it all the time, and Sonic 2 is a great game. But now going into this movie, my boy Shadow is in this movie now. Sonic the Hedgehog 3 stars Jim Carrey and Ben Schwartz, and it's about Sonic, Knuckles, and Tails reunite against a powerful new villain, Shadow. From director Jeff Fowler, who directed the first two Sonic movies, we are finally talking Sonic the Hedgehog 3. I know a lot of you are so hyped for this movie, and I'll be honest with you, I was looking forward to see how they were going to do Shadow. So obviously in Sonic 2, the end credit scene, they teased Shadow. And so everyone was like, we cannot wait. And then they casted Keanu Reeves as Shadow. And I instantly was like, I wasn't in love with it. Then the first trailer came out. I was like, okay, I dig it. I see what they're going for. And so seeing it early today with a packed crowd, Sonic 3, in my opinion, is for sure the best one in this trilogy, and it's honestly no question, because these movies are family friendly. So is this one. But this one actually takes a dark story from the games dealing with Shadow and his past, and they put it in this movie, and I respect the heck out of that. Did not think they were going to show a lot of his past. They do in all its glory, and it is sad and dark, and I was like, good job, movie. But besides the dark stuff, this movie is still very family friendly. This movie is big. It's got a lot of action. You get a lot of Sonic, Knuckles, and Tails. And it's a fun movie. So beginning with the positives, the action in this movie. I really feel like the action got a lot better. And I'm going to say it to the director, Jeff Fowler. The direction is just stronger in this movie. Now that you have a group, now you have our Sonic characters, Knuckles and Tails with Sonic, living together with James Marsden and having their lives be completely disrupted by Shadow. And obviously, Jim Carrey is back, and that is just already a positive as Robotnik. And so this movie takes it to a next level, and it just feels like the action gets intensified, and I really enjoyed that. I like seeing the movie mature a little bit, but again, it's still family friendly. I think Ben Schwartz as Sonic is still very good. I love hearing Tails, Idris Elba as Knuckles. Their camaraderie is honestly fun. There's a few funny lines they say to each other, and the movie has a good vibe of like a family with these getting disrupted by Robotnik. And also Robotnik now has another Robotnik. I believe it was his dad or grandpa, I forget. But basically you have two Jim Carreys. And I've always said for these first two movies, Jim Carrey has been the bright spot. He is once again the bright spot. You cannot make me hate Jim Carrey. Jim Carrey, if he's in a movie, it will probably not be an F. And this movie, once again, he nails that villain fun role. Like, you can tell he's having so much fun in this role. And him playing two characters in this movie, it's a cherry on top. Both of them are over the top when need be, and they're more villainous when need be. Because again, this movie's not like super duper serious, but I will say Robotnik in this movie felt very much like the video games. Those first two movies, it almost felt like he was always like the background behind certain events happening. Like that first one didn't feel like Robotnik hugely to me. It had the vibes of it. This one feels like they took that original Robotnik, like animated, was it a movie or a show? I forget, but they took that version and put him in this movie, and it felt really nice to watch. So now let's talk about it. Shadow. Keanu Reeves as Shadow. I really liked Keanu Reeves as Shadow. I truly thought going in, I was like, am I just going to hear Keanu Reeves? There is times I feel like, yeah, they're making the joke of like, yeah, this is Keanu Reeves' voice. But the thing is, Keanu Reeves does bring the character to life with his voice, with a lot of just dark moments, like I said earlier, when it comes more to his past and his story, why the way he is. It's really interesting. I give the movie a lot of credit for taking that story from the game. Again, I've played the game in a really long time, but like I do remember that plot line. And so for this movie, when it comes to them just fighting together and actually bringing in the intensity, I really enjoyed it, man. I thought the movie did a really good job. When it comes to my negatives, Once again, I gotta say the pacing. The second one was bad. The second one had bad pacing. This one felt like there was high moments, and then when it was really low, the movie just halted. And it halted for like a good 25 minutes. I'm like, can we have something happen? Like, I feel like these movies need to be like 15 minutes shorter, and honestly, they'd be even better in my opinion. There's a few things this movie dealing with, a few subplots and a few jokes that could easily be cut to help the runtime, but again, it's a family-friendly movie. A lot of kids are gonna go see this movie on Christmas Day, and it's just something that I can see that crowds are going to really enjoy. And so I'm not hating on the movie, but as a person that's watching the movie, the pacing is always seems to be the issue for these movies. And I think they all need to be like 10 minutes shorter. But again, another little issue, and this deals with spoilers, it's the third act and the final like confrontation. It felt, and this sounds weird, really predictable. And I know what you're saying, well, yeah, it's a family movie. It's going to be predictable. For some reason, to me, this one just bothered me on how predictable this movie was. I don't know why. Maybe I'm just one of those moods, but I walked away from this movie saying, like, that's gonna that. Also, I know this character's plot point, so that's gonna happen here. And by the end of this movie, this is gonna happen. And so it did. It happened exactly the way I planned out. But again, those are small critiques. This movie's a lot of fun. This movie's big, it's loud, it's funny, it's a good time, especially if you're a Sonic fan. You're gonna eat this movie up. I ate a lot of it up. Didn't like love it like a lot of people are. I enjoy these movies, and I do think this is the best one. And make sure you stay for those post-credit scenes, especially that first one, because my crowd cheered very loud. I'm gonna give Sonic the Hedgehog 3 a B. All I can say is we're going to get more of these movies. And honestly, as long as Jim Carrey keeps coming back, that's always going to be a pro. But as long as these characters stay the way they are and they do the love for the video games, I'm going to keep enjoying these movies. And this is another good addition to the trilogy. I'm excited to see where they go from here. And if you guys enjoy this movie review, I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye, everybody!